अस्सलाम वालेकुम। कैपिटल लाइव विद अनीका में मैं अनीका निसार आपको खुशामदीद कहती हूँ। नाज़रीन, बॉक्सिंग की दुनिया में सबसे माया नाज नाम आपने भी सुना होगा, हमने भी सुना, बचपन से सुनते आ रहे हैं, मोहम्मद अली का नाम, जिनका नाम असल में कैसियस मार्सेलस क्ले जूनियर था। 17 जनवरी 1942 में पैदा होने वाले मोहम्मद अली ने बॉक्सिंग की दुनिया के अंदर तो अपना नाम पैदा किया ही किया, लेकिन सिर्फ बॉक्सिंग की दुनिया ही नहीं बल्कि एक्टिविज्म के अंदर भी पेश रहे। हमेशा से इक्वालिटी यानी बराबरी की बात की और इस्लाम की तरफ आने के बाद बिलखुसूस उनका इस चीज़ की तरफ ज़्यादा ध्यान हुआ। पाकिस्तान में भी आए और पाकिस्तान में जब आए तो लंबी कतारें लग गई उनके इस्तकबाल के लिए। और आज हमारे साथ दो ऐसी शख्सियात होंगी जो मोहम्मद अली के बहुत करीब थी। मोहम्मद अली जो कि 2016 जून 3 जुम्मे के दिन इस दुनिया से कूच कर गए, उनकी लेगेसी आज भी मौजूद है और उस लेगेसी के हवाले से बात करेंगे। हमारे साथ मौजूद होंगी उनकी अहलिया, उनकी 4 बीवियाँ थीं जिनके अंदर से सबसे अहम रोल बिलिंडा बोयड, जो कि अब खलीला के नाम से जानी जाती हैं, उन्होंने अदा किया। जो बहुत सारी पोइटिक चीज़ें बोला करते थे मोहम्मद अली, वो बेसिकली खलीला की लिखी हुई होती थी और बड़ी इंस्पिरेशन ये दिया करते थे। आज हम उनसे और उनके दोस्त मोहम्मद अकबर अली से बात करेंगे कि आखिर मोहम्मद अली थे कैसे, मोहम्मद अली ने बॉक्सिंग की दुनिया में नाम बनाया ही बनाया और इस तरीके से बॉक्सिंग की दुनिया में आए कि एक्सपेक्टेड भी नहीं था कि एक दफ़ा वो कहीं गए और वापस आए तो उनकी साइकिल चोरी हो गई। साइकिल चोरी होने पर उनको गुस्सा चढ़ा तो पता ये चला कि बेसमेंट में लड़ाई यानी बॉक्सिंग का एक इंस्ट्रक्टर है जो कि बॉक्सिंग सिखा रहे हैं यंग बच्चों को। वो वहाँ चले गए सिर्फ इसलिए कि अपने साइकिल चोर से वो लड़ सकें और ऐसे एक सुनहरे बाब का आगाज़ होता है। सवाल से बात करेंगे, ब्रेक की तरफ जाएंगे और अपने शो का बाकायदा आगाज़ करेंगे। मैं अपने मेहमानों से भी आपका तारुफ करवाऊंगी। एंड कीप वॉचिंग फॉर एन इंटरेस्टिंग इंटरव्यू। वेलकम बैक आफ्टर ब्रेक। नाज़रीन, ब्रेक पे जाने से पहले आपको मोहम्मद अली के हवाले से कुछ बताया। मोहम्मद अली वो चैंपियन जो कि सिर्फ और सिर्फ बॉक्सिंग के रिंग में चैंपियन नहीं थे बल्कि लोगों के दिलों के भी चैंपियन थे और पाकिस्तान के अंदर उनको बड़ा सराहा जाता रहा, इसलिए क्योंकि वो एक तब्दीली की अलामत बन गए, एक ऐसी तब्दीली की, आज़ादी की अलामत बन गए जो कि पाकिस्तान के अंदर, स्पेशली मुसलमान होने की वजह से पाकिस्तान के अंदर उनको और सराहा जाने लगा। उनके मद्दा पाकिस्तान के अंदर बेशुमार थे और जब पाकिस्तान में उनका दौरा हुआ तो पाकिस्तान में कतारें लगी हुई थी मोहम्मद अली को वेलकम करने के लिए, ग्रीट करने के लिए। ये शान थी मोहम्मद अली की। लेकिन अमेरिका में एक ऐसा शख्स, एक ऐसा बच्चा जो कि बॉक्सिंग की तरफ तब आया जब उसकी साइकिल चोरी हो गई, तब वो बॉक्सिंग सीखने आया। एक ऐसा बच्चा एक हीरो कैसे बन गया, इस हवाले से आज बात करेंगे। हमारे साथ दो बहुत अहम शख्सियात मौजूद हैं मोहम्मद अली की ज़िंदगी की। एक उनकी सेकंड वाइफ खलीला कामचो अली साहिबा हमारे साथ मौजूद हैं। बहुत शुक्रिया, बहुत थैंक यू सो मच खलीला साहिबा फॉर जॉइनिंग अस टुडे ऑन आवर शो। दूसरा, उनके वो दोस्त जो कि उनके रिफ्लेक्टिव फेज ऑफ लाइफ में उनके साथ रहे और उन्होंने बहुत सारी ऐसी चीज़ें देखी जो कि एक चैम्पियन की डेफिनेटली शान और शौकत के अलावा एक ह्यूमैनिटेरियन साइड देखने को उनको मिली। मोहम्मद अकबर खान, बहुत शुक्रिया मोहम्मद अकबर खान साहब फॉर जॉइनिंग अस। नाउ विल स्टार्ट ऑफ विद यू खलीला साहिबा। We've seen Muhammad Ali as a champion. He had an aura that, you know, people used to get attracted towards him. He used to be like the person who a lot of Pakistanis used to look up to because he struggled in his life and he came to a place where everybody admired him. But as a husband, how was he?
He was a good husband. He was full of surprises. He knows. We looked at television together. We saw a lot of westerns and horror movies. Used to be our favorite. And when he was in exile and he couldn't fight or anything, he was more closer to home. And at different instances, we would go different places. He would run across some of the celebrities we used to see on TV or something, and he would surprise me with them. Like I used to look at Dwight Earp all the time and the shoot 'em ups and everything. And one time he was going out after dinner and it was 3 o'clock in the morning and I was laying on the couch waiting for my young husband to come home. And when he came home like 3 o'clock in the morning, I was laying on the sofa and then I heard this voice saying, "You better get out of town before sundown and your horse better be fast." And I go, that wasn't Ali. That wasn't Ali. and it's like Wyatt Earp. And he flipped the switch in the house, and there was Wyatt Earp standing in my kitchen door like that. I go, oh my goodness. and instead of me going to see Wyatt Earp, it was a winter. And I went outside to see if the guy's horse was outside. I mean, that's how convincing it was to see him. And he would always surprise me that way.
And with the rhymes, but you just mentioned a rhyme. He was very good with poems and coming up with rhyming words. What was that about?
That was a trick, because he would only rhyme, if you notice back in those days, he would only rhyme like the round he would go down in, like, I'll get Archie Moore in 4, I'll send him to heaven in 7. I'm the one that wrote the poems.
You were the one?
Yes.
Behind the thing that made him famous.
Okay.
Yeah, that was one thing.
That was it. Nobody knew it, but I wrote it for him. You
Wow.
know, I wanted him to be, outspoken and a little bit more direct. And when I was 13, I wrote a poem when I found out he was going to fight Sonny Liston. I wrote a poem because I didn't like Liston. And he was about to kill this little Muslim and everything. And it was like, I didn't like the guy from Jump Street. So I wrote a poem for Ali, and I said, here, you take that poem, give that to Sonny Liston. And the poem was, this is the legend of Cassius Clay, the most beautiful fighter in the world today. This fist fight's great. He's got speed and endurance. But if you're trying to sign to fight him, increase your insurance. This kid's got a left. This kid's got a right. Look at the kid carry the fight. All the crowd's getting frantic. There's not enough room. The Ali lowers the boom. Who would have thought when it came to the fight, they see a spook satellite. No one would dream when they put down their money, they see a total eclipse of the sunny. That was a point.
And the fight with the Sonny
He made
Liston.
my point famous. So.
Oh, wow. All right. So Sonny Liston, the fight with Sonny Liston.
Yes.
It was something big. Firstly, he was, enticing him to come and fight with him. And then the fight, nobody was expecting him to beat Sonny Liston.
Right.
That was
He
something big.
antagonized Sonny Liston. He went to his house and put a bear trap at his door on his lawn.
Wow.
Yeah, and called him the big ugly bear. Who does that? He intimidated him. Half the fight was already lost.
So, and nobody was expecting Sonny Liston to give up in the last round.
Oh, they knew he wouldn't.
So how did that happen? That confidence.
That confidence
How did that come?
made Sonny Liston lose his confidence, but with all the traps and calling him a bear, he antagonized him, and that's his style, to intimidate his opponent before he gets into the ring. Half the fighters already won then,
Right.
because he made Sonny Liston feel insecure, and you make somebody mad enough they can't think when they're fighting. That was his tactic.
The insecurity was Muhammad Ali's strength.
Yes.
Right. But the America back then was struggling for the rights of the people of color, the people of race.
Exactly.
And Muhammad Ali was a big part of it in a way that he refused to go to Vietnam War.
Yeah.
And he had to face a lot of troubles after that.
Right.
How did he take that?
That was because of the legacy of the Muslims in America. We never go to the white man's wars. We were conscientious objectors. He got that idea from being interested in Islam, and that drove him to not go to the army. That's why he did not step forward. They had tricked him. They had already, when he was Cassius Clay, they had already drafted him once. But psychologically, he failed. When he started hanging around Muslims, all of a sudden this guy is a genius. He's smart. So they said, well, we're going to induct him in the army. So he drafted him twice. That's really against the law. But since they made the law, they can change the law to their own, justification. So I told him that he didn't want to go to the jail. He was a young man. He didn't want to go to jail, but he didn't understand what the Muslim sacrifice is about. To sacrifice your belief, to sacrifice things that you really don't want to do, and for something you believe in is more important than anything. And he learned that by being around Muslims. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he said, I want to be a Muslim. He said, well, you can't go to the white man's wars because you're a Muslim. If you become Muslim, you cannot do that. You cannot go into the army. He said, wow, I don't want to go to jail. And he was only a young man at the time. He said, well, you talk to Belinda. You talk to her. She'll explain to you what it means not to go to the Army. Because I was young, I can speak on his level where and make it plain for him to understand. So how can I do that? I'm 14 years old. I can tell a grown man what to do, but I'm going to do it so he can understand it. So when I told him, I said, if you want to be the most famous man in the world, you wouldn't go to the Army. You'd be the first one not to go.
Right.
And because all the other black African Americans was going to the Army, you know what I mean?
They were basically bound by the law,
so they were
forced to, actually.
They were actually forced to, actually, it is. So they didn't want any trouble, and so they went. When Muhammad found out that we don't go to the Army, he said, I don't know, I don't want to go to jail. I says, well, this is the sacrifice of standing up for your beliefs. And then he looked at me, he says, well, what would you do? And I would say, hell no, I ain't gonna go. Clean out my cell, take me to jail without bail. Hell no. And the next morning, he was raving on the television, hell no, I'm not gonna go. He repeated everything I said. So I said, now it's up to you to make that decision, because nobody can make that decision with you, but you'd be the greatest and most famous man in the world if you do that.
But he was risking his career for that. He was afterwards banned in all 50 states from boxing and fighting. He had to go to Canada and UK to fight.
I told him, risk everything you believe, everything you love, risk it for Islam. Because if you sacrifice and stick with Islam, Allah will lead you to a glorious paradise.
And he actually came up and later on stood up.
I was so proud of him. I was so proud. He said, Belinda said, no, I can't go. Hell no, I can't go. He said, she would do it, so he did it. But I didn't know he was going to mimic me all the way down the line, and he didn't. He did it, and I was so proud of him. I really was.
When he came up and he said, the world thought he doesn't care about the money, he doesn't care about his career, he doesn't care about the power.
That's right.
That gave a different sort of image to the world, especially in America at that time.
Yeah.
Being a person of color, being a person of different religion, coming from a Christian family, switching to Islam.
Yeah.
That also created a bit of controversy in America, especially after he stopped the reporters from calling him Cassius Clay. He asked them to call Muhammad Ali.
That's right.
How
beat
did
him
you
into submission.
how did you cope up with that? Did you face a lot of trouble from fellow Americans at that time?
I don't care about no pay. I was Muslim, and I don't care about that. That wasn't important. I knew later on in life that they would give him his championship back, his license back. I had a feeling, mother wit you might call it, but I knew that he would get his license back. He didn't believe it. He didn't understand it. He thought he had lost it all. And I think that's where I came into place. I think Allah put me in that place to keep his confidence up, to keep his morale up, give him a family, have him to focus on his family. I created a campaign. I said, look, let's go to colleges, and I'll write your speech, and you can go to college, we'll have a paycheck. And he said, really? I said, yeah. I said, we could do that and get it started, become the people's champion. You'll be forced to give you your license back. He said, how do you know that? You're so young, you've never been nowhere. How do you know that? I said, well, I'm a Muslim.
Being young.
Yes.
Did Muhammad Ali meet you when you were very young? Because we were just talking before the show, and I got to know he knew you way before, getting married and getting to know you.
Our first meeting was very dramatic. I was 10 years old. He was 18. He had just won the gold medal for the United States for boxing in Rome.
The Olympics.
In Rome, Italy. In 1960, I was 10. He was 18. This is when he gave me. He was interested in Muslims because he had met Malcolm X. He said, oh man, this guy is in the ghetto talking to people, and he's so humble, and he liked that. He said, I want to meet the man who taught Malcolm. And he went to the Elijah Muhammad's empire, and the first stop was the school. And he came in, and he was 18, and he said, I'm going to be the heavyweight champion before I'm 21. Get your autographs now. And I goes, well, how does this guy know he's going to be champion 21? What's with this guy? And he said, and then he came up to me and he said, here, little girl, here's my autograph. My name's going to be famous. And I said, your name is Cassius Marcellus, right? That's a Roman name. You know what the Romans did to people? He said, no. I said, and then you got clay, that means dirt you mold, and you proud of this? And he said, yeah. I said, brother, I tore up that autograph. I put it in his hand and said, brother, let me tell you something. Until you have a name of respect, until you have a name of honor, matter of fact, until you have a Muslim name, you can take that back with you. I can't take that.
Right.
And he said, she tore my autograph.
That would have been a blow to the child.
Oh, his ego was so big. He was like, she tore up my autograph. Who is she? He said, man, you can't touch her. She's a Muslim sister. You can't touch her. You know, that's the princess of Islam. And he go, who? And he said, well, her father, you don't want to go there.
Okay.
He was a very strong man. And he, you know, anytime a man is told what he can have, you know he's going to try to figure out how to get it.
Exactly.
Right? So he was just stunned. And then he came back and I was 13. And then I gave him the poem. And then he left and he come back and I'm 16.
Wow.
And I'm taller, I'm formed. And he still couldn't get me. So he told Elijah Muhammad when he didn't go to the army, he said, I need a name. I want a Muslim name. I want a, he gave him Cassius X first. And then he said, no, I can't have that. He says, I have to name of respect, a name of honor. I have to have a Muslim name.
That's stuck in his mind.
Stuck in his mind. He's very mimicking. He can remember things. Because he know if he come back and see me with Cassius X, it's not going to be good. So it just inspired him to ask Elijah Muhammad for a name. Then you see Elijah Muhammad said, okay, you don't want that? He said, see that man standing over there? That's my soldier. He's a royal fighter of Islam. I trust him with my life. I will give you his last name, Ali. And I'm going to give you Muhammad. So your name is going to be Muhammad Ali.
Right. That's how he became Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, that's exactly how he became
You
Muhammad.
were the inspiration of the change in the name.
There you go. And then he comes back. I want to talk to you. Where's she at? Where's she at? She said, she's over there working at the Muslim bakery over there. She's over there. And it was a long line. It was right after Muslim service. And he said, I got a new name. I have a Muslim name. My name Muhammad Ali. He said, you want my autograph now? I said, good for you. I said, I tell you what, you hold on to that for a minute, become Muhammad Ali, then you can come back and talk to me. He said, no, she won't. Oh, what's with this girl? and then he came back and followed me. I had my graduation at the age of 16 from the Muslim school. I graduated valedictorian.
Right.
And when I came back from the prom, his car was parked in front of my father's house. And I go, what's this guy doing at midnight in my father's house? What's with this guy? And I went through the back door. And my dad says, Salam alaikum, why are you late? I said, Daddy, Wali had to stop off somewhere, and I'm sorry I'm late. I said, why is Cassius Clay on Muhammad Ali's car in front of our driveway? He said, because he wanted to see you. I says, it's 12 o'clock at night, Dad. I says, I'm not seeing anybody at no 12 o'clock. I went to bed.
Okay.
I woke up, he was still in my mother's house, father and mother's house.
He stayed there. He waited for you to wake up.
He did not leave.
And what was that talk about?
He asked my mother how old she was when she got married. He asked my dad how old was he when he got married. And they kept going back and forth. He said, well, you talk to your mom. And he said, no, you talk to your dad. And I said, why don't you guys sit together for a minute and let's talk this thing out.
All right, we'll stop you right there.
Okay.
Because let's keep the suspense there. What was the talk about? Muhammad Ali ने खलीला कामचो अली के घर जाकर पूरी रात इंतजार करके कि खलीला कामचो अली उठें. क्या बात की? इस हवाले से बात करेंगे लेकिन एक ब्रेक के बाद. वेलकम बैक आफ्टर द ब्रेक. नाज़रीन, ब्रेक पे जाने से पहले आपको बताया कि अभी बात हो रही थी कि खलीला कामचो अली जिन्होंने बेसिकली मोहम्मद अली को मुसलमान नाम लाने पर एक तरह से आमादा किया। उनके घर जा पहुंचे मोहम्मद अली, मिलने से इनकार किया जब उन्होंने, तो पूरी रात इंतज़ार किया कि ठीक है जब उठेंगी तो मुलाकात करेंगे। उठकर क्या मुलाकात हुई उनके वालिद और वालिदा के घर पर, क्या बातें होती रहीं, इस हवाले से बात करेंगे। So Khalila, what was this about? Well, he waited the whole night. What did he want to talk?
He said, "You're going to be my wife."
So he brought a proposal, a formal
right
proposal.
then, and he didn't ask me. He told me, because he had got a little research beforehand and found out I would never say yes to anyone. So he made sure he didn't ask me. He just told me. He went and got research.
And then you just married him, or how did it go?
And I said, he said, "You're going to be my wife." I says, well, wow, that's a different approach. Because I was surprised he didn't ask me. And I'm glad he didn't, because I would have said no.
So yeah, he didn't leave that part out. So he didn't leave
had a little research,
the choice
man.
out.
He said, "Don't ask her that, because she's going to say no." He made sure he didn't ask me that question.
Maybe that was a tip from your dad and your mom.
I think so.
You think so?
I think so.
All right.
Yeah.
So as a husband, was he romantic?
No, he's not the romantic type, but he's he used to call me the romantic.
All right.
He used to call me what you call it was an old name. He said, I can't remember it now. Lovey-dovey. He said, "You're a real lovey-dovey," you know, because I'm the romantic, and he said, "You're a real lovey-dovey," and I said, "Yeah," but he was very affectionate, and he was excited. I finally got pregnant. I says, "I'm going to have a baby." He said, "What?"
Okay.
He was that really excited, and he didn't know what to do. He started crying.
He did.
Yeah,
so he was
started crying.
emotional. He just didn't show it.
This is his first child, so you know, I was kind of excited.
And how, when he saw his first daughter, his first child?
Oh man, he was unbelievable. He was unbelievable. I've never seen him so happy, you know.
Never, even after winning big games.
Different kind of happiness, totally. Matter of fact, when we had our son, he actually saw our son being born. And when he saw him being born, this champion of a man fainted right in the operating room. He just fainted and had a concussion when we got out. Yeah, he was in my bed when I got out of the operating room. He fainted. A man fainted. I've never seen a man faint before. He just fell back and just went right out like a light.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is Muhammad Ali. Wow.
This side people have not usually
Nobody's seen that side. Yeah, I have never seen that side. So I was kind of happy for him. You know, I feel sorry for him. Poor kid, poor guy. Now, I thought he'd be running all over there. I got a son. I got a son. You know.
That was an entirely different story.
Totally different story.
Coming to a bit of political side.
Okay.
Mohammed, you've seen, like, you met him like in the last 26 years or so, and you've known the side that a lot of people have not known, or has been out of the limelight. Not the boxing side, but the reflective side. What did Muhammad Ali feel about after the 2000, the America after the 2000, 9/11 happens and things change? How did he see that?
Well, you know, when I first met Ali, it was before all of that. One thing Ali loved is people. And he loved seeing people happy. Ali just loved that. And in some situations, people took advantage of that.
Right.
You know, or people who were around him took advantage of his good nature. And so when I met him, he was doing magic trick. So he would speak. I set up a speaking event to the Muslim community.
Right.
So he was saying, if I can trick you, Shaitan can trick you off your basics. So that's my first intro to the champ.
Wow.
You know, then Champ loved everyone, and he did not like division. People getting divided on race, religion, even sectarianism. We're all one Muslims. You can't say I'm this kind of Muslim or that kind of Muslim. We're Muslim. You know, so So someone asked, one journalist asked Champ, what do you think of other religions? And Champ was a master with words, brevity. Instead of a long answer, he said, all rivers run to the ocean.
Wow.
You know, so that was so when you come to America and in retrospect, and even to the point where when I observed the funeral, I was in South Africa at the memorial there. It crystallized what people don't get, the American Muslim identity. Here's American, who's a Muslim, who looked at the world from an American Muslim point of view and did things within his cultural context. And you could see that in the funeral, you know, on all the speakers.
Right.
So it really, for the generation, for the American Muslim generation, when Allah took his life and changed his address to the next world, it crystallized the American Muslim presence and institutionalized the American Muslim presence, because he's loved by everybody.
Right.
Presidents, man on the street, he was just loved by everybody. But what Kalia did by inspiring this man to be who he became, and the reason why I say that, because when I met Champ in another context, and I brought his wife up, Miss Kalia Macho, Ali, I could see a change in him. Because that's his first wife. That was the wife that he learned Islam from. That was the wife he got his identity from. That was his wife who supported him spiritually as he faced the world, and who had a lot of knowledge. I mean, Miss Kalia Ali was very educated at her age on Islam.
So you could see that impact on Muhammad Ali, that there was definitely, as people say, there's a woman backing a man, a success of a man, right? So you could see that. But this might be, you know, an emotional topic for both of you. How did you feel when you saw the Champ leave the world, the funeral ceremonies? How was that feeling?
Well, I will say, you know, I was around Champ, and when I was at his house. He bought the house from Miss Kalia Macho many years ago, but it's a very nice house in Chicago. It was Al Capone's house.
I've actually seen that.
I love Al Capone.
So we were at Al Capone's house, and it was time for prayer, and he insists I lead the prayer. How can I lead the Champ? In my mind, I can't do that, but you know, when Champ wants you to do something, you got to do it. So anyway, it was prayer salat time, and I did the salat with the family behind. And then we go inside, and the U.S. State Department calls. And they say, Champ, State Department's on the line. They want to know when President Mandela comes, can you see him? President Mandela's requesting an audience with you. So he said, sure. And then oddly enough, a few hours later, State Department calls, and another request from President Gorbachev when he visits United States. So now the Champ tells me, you see, I'm the greatest. Mandela, or even President of Russia, Gorbachev, when it comes to America, if they meet the president or don't meet they gotta meet the Champ. I'm the greatest. But he says Allah is really the greatest if you have two things. So he's giving me advice now as a young man. He's saying two things: have good intentions, clean heart, your niyyah, and follow it up with good deeds. And that's where I saw at the funeral.
Right.
At the funeral, what I saw was a man who had great intentions, and he was great as a boxer, and then great outside the ring with deeds. So death to a Muslim, to all of us, is not the end, it's a change of address. So he went to the next world with his intentions and his deeds, and I think that was, from my point of view, I wasn't emotionally sad because he was going through a lot of challenges in the latter years of his life, and he just went home to Allah.
Right. So you were.
But what I felt, me and the children, we saw him go through so much suffering with the Parkinson's disease.
Yes.
And it got worse and worse and worse. And we've talked to him, we've seen him shake and go through different phases. But whenever he's around me, somehow he can talk. He just, spirit gets lifted and he can talk just as clear as you're talking to me. And what we saw in him was the father, the husband, the good times, the laughing times, happy times. And when we saw him suffering like that, and then he passed away, we felt good because he wasn't suffering anymore. The suffering is over.
Right.
So it was a relief to see him go to the next life and pray for him to be in paradise. And he will be well missed. But the beauty and the joy that we feel for him, how he made us laugh and funny things he would do to people, and that will always be remembered.
Definitely. Now, coming to a bit of political side again, the change that he worked for, that changed America as well, that he fought for and he stood for. And, refusing for Vietnam War was one big thing that he did, and that changed the perspective of the people of color. Coming to Barack Obama's presidency, that would have been something big, definitely something of a change. And now coming from Barack Obama to Donald Trump, how do you see that? Where is America going? Is it in a reverse gear?
Well, the only thing about that is that it was a very great historical moment to see President Obama and Michelle Obama become president of the United States, the 44th president. It was a very heroic, very historic event, and it was very pleasing. He's a good man. He tried his best to be on neutral grounds. It's a totally different change now. It's changed a lot.
Did you think Donald Trump is playing a negative role? President Donald Trump, is he playing a role to reverse all those struggles that people went through?
I think media perception is reality in the media. I mean, Donald Trump was at my friend's house 10 years ago. Okay, it was a South African Muslim. Donald Trump had friends of all colors.
Right.
So I just think that me personally, I don't want to get into the politics of the moment, partisan politics.
Right.
Because media can put us all on that platform. Just recently we were in Washington trying to help the Rohingya Muslims. So we were at the Foreign Relations Committee that makes decisions.
Right.
And passes laws for State Department. And prior to that, Sheikh Hasina from Bangladesh told President Trump, you have to do something.
Right.
And so President Trump and his administration now is looking at getting hundreds of millions of dollars of aid to the 500,000 traumatic refugees in Bangladesh.
Which brings me to the question, what brings you to Pakistan?
Well, first of all, my roots, my grandparents left like early 1900s. My cousin, who you met, drove all the way from Buttagram to come meet us, which I appreciate. So my roots are here.
Right.
I mean, it's a long time, 100+ years, right? And that's one. Second, Miss Ali's roots here. She'll talk about that. In Karachi, she'll speak about that. But the main thing is, we get on the plane, we take what we need.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
It's same thing with this life. When we leave, we will only take what we need. And what we're bringing is aid to orphanage, girls' orphanage here in Rawalpindi. It's called Sabah Homes. Years ago, we helped connect with USA. They received a nice grant, which we attended with the ambassador. who gave a grant to this girls' orphanage. The point is, we're here for girls that if they didn't have a home, God knows where would they be. And I think this humanitarian side, that's what Ali stood for. That's
Right.
what Ms. Khalila Ali stands for. So that's what brings us here. Really, we care about the less fortunate in this country.
Right. So basically, you're here to help the orphans. How do you feel when you are able to help the orphans here in Pakistan, doing humanitarian work, all the way coming from there to here?
It's almost like having your own children. If anytime you're trying to help someone, especially girls, because they're very precious, and to give them some kind of guidance or any support. I was a former teacher in a Muslim school. Keep their rights in motion and in place.
And for that, education is very important. Khalila
Very
Kamachi Ali Sahib, I'm very glad to have.
My father's father was from Karachi, and they
That's great grandfather.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, and he studied in Lahore. He was an imam, and he studied. His name was Muhammad Abdullah.
Right.
So imagine the wife of the world champ has Pakistani roots.
Roots. Yeah, that is
I mean,
interesting.
the world doesn't know that.
Yeah,
You know?
Now they do.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you so much, Miss Khalila Kamachi
and I'm proud
Ali.
of you.
Oh, thank you.
I think you're beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you.
On the political note, I think U.S. needs to understand Pakistan more.
That's right.
Definitely.
I think
For
there's
sure.
a big disconnect. Pakistan during the Cold War was the best friend that United States had, and U.S. should appreciate that friendship.
And we hope that happens, what you
Right.
just said, that happens. Ms. Khalila Kamachi Ali, thank you so much.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Muhammad Akbar Khan, बहुत शुक्रिया आपने ज्वाइन किया. Thank you so much. Since हम लोगों ने एक चैम्प के बारे में बात की, लेकिन वो चैम्प ऐसा चैम्प या ऐसी शख्सियत जिसने बहुत सारे मुसलमानों को एक तरफ तो ये भी दिखाया कि ब्रेवरी क्या है, एक तरफ ये भी दिखाया कि बहादुरी क्या है, एक तरफ ये भी दिखाया कि किस तरीके से अपने हुकूक के लिए लड़ना है, तो दूसरी तरफ ये भी दिखाया कि कैसे जीत के बाद भी अपने आप को अल्लाह ताला के सामने सरनगू रखना है. ये तमाम चीज़ें हमें मोहम्मद अली की ज़िंदगी से नज़र आती हैं. हम लोगों ने आज आपको ये खुसूसी इंटरव्यू दिखाया. उम्मीद करते हैं कि आपकी ज़िंदगी के अंदर भी कुछ ना कुछ अच्छी तब्दीली लेकर आएगा. हमारे शो से इतना ही. कैपिटल लाइव विद अनीका से अनीका निसार आपसे इजाज़त मांगती है. हमें फीडबैक ज़रूर दीजिएगा. अपना बहुत ख्याल रखिए. अल्लाह हाफ़िज़.